Thank you for tuning in to watch this video with us today. So what we're going to be doing is starting off by reviewing the Houzz profile, as there are a couple of premium features that you do have access to. So what we're going to do is go through building that up and sharing a couple of best practice tips. After reviewing the Houzz profile, what we'll do is do a deep dive into the Houzz Pro software, as your subscription type is primarily based on that software. Most of our subscribers that we'll be watching today is part of that starter package, which primarily focuses on the software, as it's all about streamlining the processes and business management. If you feel like your goals are more tailored to building a brand or your business or even getting more clients in, this subscription type is probably not the best for that. With that being said, if you do want to learn more about creating better awareness and getting more clients in, definitely feel free to let us know, and that way I can get one of our reps to reach out and walk you through what that all consists of. So let's go ahead and get started. The first thing we'll go through, like I said, is that Houzz profile. So this is a Houzz profile that I like to use as an example, as it's really well built out and has all of the features on there. So what we'll start off by doing is going through everything you have access to. First, we have our imagery. So we've got our profile image and our cover banner at the back. So these are something that you can go ahead and upload, whether that's a photo of yourself and your team, a photo of your business logo, completely up to you. And then we've got that banner image at the back. So that's something that when you do upload, there will be guidelines, for example, image resolution quality, size of image. So there are a couple of guidelines that will help you choosing the best image for that back cover. Once you've done that, what you've also got is your client description and all of your text. So for example, what we have got is our business description. When you go read more, you've also got things like services provided in areas that you do serve as well. So these are really important in building up that content. That way when homeowners do come on your profile, they'll know, yep, this kind of service is exactly what I'm after, and they also serve my area. So you can always come in and fill that information out. On our left-hand bar, what we've also got is typical job costs. So what we can do is come in and fill out a bunch of information about the range that you do offer, and as well as a bit of a description in what kind of services that you offer, a little bit more insights on that job cost. To enter this kind of information in, what you'll need to do is hop into your Houzz profile and click on Edit in the top right-hand cover image. So this is my demo account that I've got, which I'll walk through how you can actually make those edits. So when you do click on edit, it'll bring you to this view here where you can scroll down, add in your business name, what category you want to fall under on the Houzz platform, as well as linking in a website. Pretty straightforward information here. This is where your business information will pull onto that Houzz profile that we just read, so it's important that we fill that one out as much as we can. I find a lot of people will fill out their About Us from their website and populate it into this field as well. As we saw before, we've got services provided. What we can do is come in here and tick the boxes that we feel like we relate with or offer. If the option isn't there, we can always come in and add in another service and add it to that list. So you can always have custom fields. Same thing with your area served. Here is where we've got our typical job cost. Like I said before, you can do a minimum and a maximum range with a bit of a description on why it is set up that way. Maybe if you offer per hour, package types, you can list that in there if you like. And then you can scroll down and then update all that information from there. Perfect. So that's all about building up that content in terms of all of that text. Once you've got that in, what you can do is scroll down a little bit more and add in a couple of premium features. The first is standouts. So standouts live right underneath your logo or company image, where you can select 3 key features that you want to highlight about your business. For example, I've chosen publish locally, online consultation, and eco-friendly. What you can do when you're logged in is click on Get Standouts, where mine says Edit, and that way it'll give you a pop-up where you can come in and select which ones you feel you relate with the most. From there, you can click Done, and that'll then post on your standouts. Another premium feature that you do have is your highlight video. So the highlight video does appear on your profile, and it's a really good summary of everything you've got. So I do recommend creating your highlight video towards the end when you build out your profile, just because what it does is automatically combine all of those aspects from your business description to project images and combine them into a 60-second video. That way when homeowners come on, rather than them going through every project that you have, they do get a quick summary in that highlight video. So when you are on your profile, you'll see that highlight video, which means it's been generated, but it will have a little lock icon, which means it's been generated, but you haven't yet published it for homeowners to have a look at on your profile. So to publish, you can just click on it, follow the prompts, and then post it from there, obviously being able to edit if needed. What we've also got is projects, pretty straightforward. You can just click new project and follow the prompts. You can upload as many projects as you like, the more the better, just so you've got a good reflection of your work when homeowners come on. And that way you've got all of your work covered, whether that's old projects, current ones you're working on. It is good to get a couple of projects to show your content. The last feature that you do have is reviews. So when you're on your profile, right underneath your business name, you can click on Get Reviews. And what that's going to allow you to do is go to previous clients, even other professionals that you've worked with, and then request reviews from there. So pretty much entering a couple of email addresses in there, you can enter up to 15 at once, and you can pop in a bit of a description, saying something like, "Hi, we've worked together in the past. I would love if you could please post a review on my Houzz profile." What that'll do is send it to them via email. In the body of the text, it'll give them a link to your profile where they can actually leave that review. When they do that, it'll look a little bit like this. So they'll click in, they'll see your details, they'll be able to leave a 5-star rating, a bit of a description, any kind of imagery as well, and a little bit of information about the project. Once that does submit, it does take a few days to publish, and it will appear on the very bottom of your profile like so. From there, what you can do is you can comment, you can even publish photos just to have a display of the work and have it all in the one spot. If you have reviews on a different kind of platform, unfortunately you can't publish them yourself. So in that kind of situation, what I would recommend doing is going to a client, coming into the same spot, whereas in the body I would say something like, "Hi, I know you've left this review for me on Google, Facebook, whatever it was in the past." I would then copy and paste the review in this section here. That way for them, it's all about copy and pasting the exact same review onto your Houzz profile. That's just a quick rundown of that Houzz profile. If you do have any other questions, I'll let you know how you can actually get in contact with myself and the support team. That way, any questions will be able to get back to you and go through it together. Perfect. So what we'll do from here is we'll start off going through Houzz Pro. So like I said before, your subscription type is primarily based on streamlining your processes and all about business management. So what you can do is click on Go to Houzz Pro in the top right-hand corner of your account, and that'll bring you into the Houzz Pro software. So this is essentially where all of that magic happens in the back end. First thing I do recommend doing as soon as you do come into Houzz Pro is actually bookmarking this tab. So that way you'll be able to access Houzz Pro rather than log into Houzz and then click Go to Houzz Pro each time. So once you are in Houzz Pro, what I do recommend doing initially is going straight into your account settings. To do that, you just hover over Houzz Pro in the top right-hand corner and then hop down to Houzz Pro settings. So what that's going to do is give you a couple different options just depending on what you want to go for. Our first tile is account. So what we've got is our account information. It may all seem pretty straightforward, but it is quite important that we do fill this out, because whatever we enter under our company details here is actually going to brand all of our documents moving forward. So whatever we pop in here is automatically going to populate on our quotes, our invoices, purchase orders, all of those kind of documents. What we've also got is a payments tab. So what you can do is set up online payments for your clients. With these online payments, there is a 1.4% processing fee. We do find a lot of designers set up this online payments because it is a lot easier for the clients to make payment. For example, when you send an invoice, a proposal to your client, in the top right-hand corner, they can just quickly click a button that says Pay Now, enter their details, and that payment will get processed. If you would like to know more about online payments, what you can do is definitely reach out and we can walk you through it. We've also got a settings tab. So this is a really important field and it will help you in the long run when you do create each kind of document. What we've got is default project memos. Sounds a little bit complicated, but basically all it is a little bit of information at the bottom of each of your document. So here I've got a proposal memo, an invoice memo, and a purchase order. So that way, saving me from typing this in every single time on each of my documents, it's just going to autofill. And I recommend setting this up before you create your projects, as we want it all filled out to automatically flow. So this is where you can put bank details, terms and conditions, and you can always customize this document to document, so it's never locked in. You can always edit. We've got a similar thing with default project emails. So with the emails that you do send through to your client, this is the email body that's going to be sent. Name and designer will get auto-filled to client's name and designer's name. What we've got as well is addresses. So you can add in a little bit of an address book. What will happen is when you do create your purchase orders, you can select from these addresses as where you want these to delivered. For example, if you have a receiving warehouse that you want your stock delivered to, maybe to analyze the goods before they reach the client, you can always add in any kind of address here and get them delivered straight from there. So that is your account tile in your account settings. What we've also got is a couple more options I'll quickly run through with you. The second is profile. So if you quickly want to link back into this Houzz profile, you can just click on profile. Billing is the ability to change your card on file that you pay for your subscription. Subscriptions is where you can come in and have a look at your current subscription, and then if need be, you can get in touch with one of your reps or with myself. Then we've got financial. So this is how you want to structure your documents. So what you can do is you can come in here and say all of my documents, I want them to show the prices inclusive or exclusive of GST. Then we can set up our GST rate. What we can also do is hop into teams. So with the starter subscription, what you can do is invite one extra team member to belong with your account. So that way your team member has their own login, they're not using your email address, but they will be able to get all of the features if you give them access. So for example, as admin, what I would want to do is come in, click on add team member, give them a first name, last name, email address. This email address is the email they'll be using to sign into your account. From there, you can give them a role, and then you can go in and say, I want this client only to have access to my potential clients and speak with them in that initial stage. I don't even want them to have a look at my invoices or proposals, purchase orders, etc. So you as admin can definitely control what your team members do or don't have access to. Once you set that up, what that'll do is send an email to your client that'll say, welcome to, EG Designs business on Houzz. What you can do is just click on the link. That'll link them into Houzz where they can create a password just to set up their profile, and it'll go from pending to activated when they're signed up. From there, our last tile is calendar. So what you can do is actually schedule in meetings with any potential calendar by syncing the calendar that you use. At the very top here, for the first time, you'll need to click on Sync Calendar. What it will do is give you a pop-up with a bunch of calendar options. For example, Google Calendar, I think Apple Calendar as well. There are quite a lot of options you can choose from. From there, you just click on the calendar you use, sign into it, and then it'll sync. From there, what you can do, like I said, is schedule in meetings with your clients. So here's where you can customize what that general meeting would look like. How long you want it to go for, what days and times you're available from as well. And then if we scroll down a little bit more, we can actually send a personalized booking link. That way you can send it to your clients to email externally to Houzz Pro and schedule in meetings. Then what you can do is also offer video consultations to appear on your Houzz profile. So what you can actually do is offer free or paid consultations, and you can set that up via PayPal as well. So that is your account settings. Throughout that whole process of account settings in general throughout projects and anytime you are using Houzz Pro, what we do have is a Need Help button in the bottom right-hand corner. So whenever you get a bit stuck or you have any questions, click on Need Help, and what that'll do is give you our Help Center. So the Help Center does allow you to search up our support catalog, whether that's articles, quick videos, how-tos, step-by-steps, all based off your searches. So if you search in invoice, for example, that'll give you articles all based off invoices. Otherwise, you can use this quick access here to have a quick look. If you can't find what you're looking for, if you can't find your answer in there, just click Contact Us and either submit a support request or even send feedback. That way we can get in touch. So you can get in touch with myself or one of our support reps, and we'll guide you through whatever your question is. So just to clarify, with your starter subscription, you get unlimited online support, so you can email us back and forth as many times as you'd like. So that's pretty much that initial setup, going through those account settings and setting up and customizing as per your liking. What I do recommend doing from here is having a look at your left-hand navigation bar. So what we've got is Grow and Manage. So Grow is going to give you all of those insights on that Houzz profile, allow you to set up a website and have a look at resources. If you would like to know a little bit more about these, definitely hop in, have a bit of a play, and like I said, if you need any questions, click on that Need Help in the bottom right. But what we're going to focus on now is Manage. So creating projects, linking in our clients. So everything in Houzz Pro, it's all private, so no one else has access to that except for you and your team members. So what you can do is start coming in and building up your projects. What I do recommend starting off with is leads. So what you can do is you can come into your lead tab and actually start recording any potential client that you do have, rather than going straight into a project and committing. So what you'd want to do is you can come in here, you can see all of your active leads that you have got. You've got a quick lead stage, which you can always click in to change. This just allows you to stay on top of the meeting. You've got your client name, the last time that you or this pro have contacted each other, and the date this lead was created. So what you can do is you can come in here, click on Create New Lead, and start creating the lead recording in Houzz Pro. So what we've got is the lead name, so we can say full home reno. We've got client name, so what we can do is create a new client or select from our existing client list. Then we've got more details, and this is where we start popping in whatever you've discussed with this client. So you've got your lead source, so how did this client contact me? What is the project type? We've got a long list to choose from. If the option that you're looking for isn't in here, I could just leave it blank, and I would go in the description and add in the project type. You've got your budget, estimated can always be edited, and then expected start date as well. So once you have filled out all of these fields, what you can do is go ahead and click on Create Lead. So that's going to go ahead and create a whole new lead for you to start interacting with that client through Houzz Pro. So first thing we're looking at is our overview. So everything about this client in the one spot. The really handy thing about this page here is our lead activity. Anytime you interact with this lead or the client interacts with it, it'll log anything that has been edited or new actions. So you can always come in and have a look at the latest status at your lead activity. You've got a quick access for your message panel and any kind of related or linked notes that you want to make. On the far right hand side, we've got the lead stage. So maybe we're still leaving it for review, so nothing has been done yet. We've got upcoming meetings. So what you can do after you have synced your calendar in those account settings is click on Schedule Meeting, either share your calendar off to your client or actually open up your own calendar, pick a time and date that you're available from, and then make it a meeting. Otherwise, what you can do is reflect back on those lead details, and if needed, you can always come in and edit them. Perfect. What we've got as well is our messages, notes and files tabs at the top here. So I guess this is where all the magic happens. So what we want to do is start typing off to our client and sending them an email. So I can come in and start customizing my message. Otherwise I can actually create templates, which will save me time in the long run. So I should have 3 templates in here by default, but you can always come in and create your own. For example, let's just say I want to send them off my standard process. I'm going to open that up and send it off. So to create a template, all you need to do is click on templates and click on create new, and that's when you can come in and insert tokens. For example, if I want to say hi and automatically enter my client's name, I can insert token, client's first name. So I can go ahead and customize the body there. You can actually link as well. So if a token that you want isn't there, you can actually come in and link in. So for example, click on the link and add in that URL. So you can always customize and use it as a quick reply if you want as well. What you can do is also actually check the status. So I can see that I've sent this, but my client hasn't opened it or read it yet. So when they do open it, it'll let you know and it'll change to red. So you can always keep a track. Is this client ignoring me? Have they just not checked their emails? You can quickly have a look there. What you can also do, which is what I find one of the most useful features of this leads, is leaving notes. So this is a really great way, especially if you have a team, of keeping everyone in the loop of what's going on. So by clicking these 3 dots on that message and adding an internal note, what that's allowing you to do is leaving any kind of details where, again, only you and your team can see. So for example, I can say, make sure to follow up in a week's time. And that will sit right underneath that message, but it'll also centralize in our notes tab at the top here. So we can see, yep, I've got my note that I've left. That's the message that it belongs to. And if necessary, I can also create any other notes. For example, I can click create new, create a new log. Here I can create a to-do list. What I can also do, similar to our templates, we can actually create a link. So if we want to go to another website, maybe we have to source something and we want to source it to a specific supplier, we can add that link in. Otherwise, we can log calls. So this is really handy, again, keeping everyone in the same loop. We can say we had a quick chat with our client, we've discussed samples, they want to go ahead next week. So you can always keep these logs, again, to keep even yourself or your team in the loop, not having to keep mental notes, having it all in here in the one spot. So what you can also do is have a look at your files. So any attachments to your leads, they'll all centralize in this one spot. So if you want to quickly have a look at maybe an attachment that was sent months ago, rather than going through all of your conversation history, you can hop into your files and have a look at them all here. So another thing with the system is it is a smart system. So when you go ahead and send your first initial message, it'll automatically change to follow up. When you schedule in a meeting, we've got the meeting automatic move over to, so it will automatically move it. If you don't want this, you can just click to change. So we have gone one step further and added in an estimate stage. So if you have sent off a quote or anything like that, you can click to change as well. So that's our general flow of how that lead works. I guess a lead can go in 1 or 2 ways. 1, didn't work out. 2, it worked out. So if the lead didn't go ahead, you can click on 3 dot options and snooze or retire. So what this will do is actually move your leads from the active list and filter it into a non-active folder. For example, here is my active list. I can filter them per stage. Otherwise, I can look at all of my ones, and then if need be, I can have a look at my snoozed or retired leads. I can always come back in here and restart my lead, and that way I can always touch base with that again. So if the lead does go ahead, what we can do is click on Convert to Project, and that'll actually migrate all of this conversation history over to my project. So that way I've retained all of those details. So I'm going to go ahead, convert it to a project. Let's go ahead. Awesome, project 1, 50,000 in my pocket. So awesome. So what we've got here is our project view. So initially we've got an overview page. At the moment this does look pretty blank because I just converted it. I haven't actually interacted yet. So what I'll have at the top is our quick access, viewing our latest documents we've created. We've got our messages going back and forth. What we can do is create tasks as well. So this is quite a new feature, so do keep an eye on a lot of updates coming in, but we can create to-do items for yourself or your client, even team members. Then we've got upcoming events, which will be stages in your timeline, as you can see here, but also due dates on documents. So I can say, okay, cool, I've got a proposal that's due for approval or payment later this week. And then also our files. So any files sent back and forth will also centralize down here. So that's our overview. What we've got is messages. Again, all of those messages sent from that lead stage will appear in the history here. Then we've got our project tabs. So this is where we want to start interacting and starting up with our project. What I do recommend doing is starting off within room boards. So room boards are a really great way at that initial point of the project. We don't want to commit to anything yet, but we do want to start getting the ball rolling. So what we're going to do is add a new room. Maybe we want to specify a home office. From our $50,000 project budget, the client only wants to spend a max $10,000 on this room. I can leave a description, or I can even browse a cover image. So the cover image does allow it to look a little bit more professional, and that way the client's got some kind of image, whether that's, you know, a before photo, an inspirational image, a floor plan, even just a banner that you've created. You can always upload that there, so it does have a nice finish. So what I can do is click into my my room board and start presenting a couple of options. So what we need to do here is actually build up our product library. So what we need to do is install the product clipper, and what you would have seen when you opened up this link is actually in my email, the link to install the product clipper as well. So if you don't have that link, definitely let me know, but we should have that in there. Once you follow the prompts, you can install the product clipper and it will appear in the top right hand corner of your page, which means you've got that blue leaf, so you're ready to go. So what I've done before this call is opened up a random supplier. I've chosen Globe West, picked a product, and now I want to add it to my library. So what the product clipper does is allow you to sync any online product into your Houzz Pro library. So what I want to do is hover over any image, click on the blue leaf that comes up, and what that'll do is autofill into the top right hand corner, which allows me to start building up essentially this form for this product. For the first time, you'll need to click sign in with Houzz Pro, and that way you'll be linked into this page here. So what I want to do is go through and get an additional 4 images. So I'm going to go through, get a couple different angles for my client to see the overall view of that product. Awesome. Now that I've gotten my images, I want to grab my text. Rather than coming here and typing it in, what I actually want to do is just click and highlight with my mouse. Once I release that click, it will bring up a drop down which allows me to autofill into that field. So if I go product title, it'll automatically fill in. Then I've got my cost. So my cost box, I recommend putting in whatever you purchase it for as the designer. So if you get trade, if you get wholesale, that's what you're going to pop in. Then what you can do is actually add on a markup. If I leave it blank at this stage, what that's going to do is my client's going to get charged $1,000. What I want to do is add on a markup, let's just say 20%. If I click on calculate markup, that's going to then show me my updated client price and my profit. Whereas me looking at this, I know, okay, I actually want to charge my client full retail each time. So I'm just going to type in the full retail price in my client box. That way they'll get charged full retail. If you don't charge your client full retail each time, I'd recommend just adding in your unit cost, which is trade, wholesale, whatever you're purchasing it for, and leaving the markup blank. So that way what you can do is come down to additional details and actually add in the recommended retail price in this box here. That way, every time you specify it, you can have a quick sneak peek at the recommended retail price and decide what you want to do for that specific client before you send them your, trade wholesale cost price. So the important reason why we want trade, wholesale, or in our cost box is because eventually that's going to go onto your purchase order. If the price that your supplier gives you excludes GST, you can simply untick that box which says this price does not include GST, and that way every time you pop it on a document, if you've allowed the settings for it, it will automatically add your GST with the GST rate on top. Then we've got our client description. So what you can do is come down, I'm just going to copy a sentence off the supplier's website, but feel free to type in a description if you want to. What we've also got is category. So when we start building up a product library, it's going to be hard to kind of keep track of which products they categorize under. So you can come in and create your own category, so you can filter through all of your chair options, couch options, fabric, anything like that. One thing I do want to note as well, the clipper isn't designed for products only. You can do tapware, you can do paint, any kind of finishes, timber flooring, so it's not necessarily for things like chairs, tables only. You can pretty much clip anything that's online. Then we've got our vendor, which is our supplier. If it's not in your list, you can come in and click create new vendor and just follow the fields. Then what we can do is actually assign it to a project. So if I know I'm just sourcing in general, it's not for a specific client, I'm just going to leave that blank. However, if I'm sourcing for a specific client, I'm going to come in and assign it to that project. And one step further, to a room board as well. What I can do is scroll down to additional details. Most of this is for purchase order information. I'm just going to pop in maybe material and finish or colour. Most of the fields are pretty straightforward, so I won't go through that. What I do recommend doing though is adding in tags, which is again just an easy way to search through your product library, and internal notes. So maybe you have a special assemble instruction, or maybe it has a certain lead time. These are just internal notes just for you to have a look at this product and any kind of details that's important with it. Once I've filled all of that out, I'm going to go ahead, click on Save to Ivy, and what that's going to do is save 2 copies of this product for me. First copy is in my product library, which is my products and services. So when I open that in a new tab, I'll be able to see all of the products that I've specified within this project. Within Houzz Pro. So I can see that new chair. If need be, I can click in and I can actually edit, go back to the link where I've got the product from. So this is good for sourcing a couple months down the track, and have a look at all the details with it. What happens now is that it actually clones that original copy and pastes it into this project. So if I come in and I edit this particular product, whether that's title, cost, quantity, it's never going to actually update in my original library here. Vice versa as well. If I come in and change the cost price, it's not going to edit that on a copy already specified on a project. So they're not linked anymore, they're 2 different copies. This is just designed so you can customize it for each client without affecting it amongst others. Awesome, so what I want to do now is just build up my library for this particular room board. So I'm going to go add items in the top right hand corner, either attach an attachment, so maybe a care guide, or products and services, which is going to give me access to my product library. So here I'm just going to come in and start building up my home office. So give the client a couple of options to have a look at, for them to let us know yes or no that they want to go ahead with those. Awesome. So now that I've added my products in, I can do a couple of things. First thing is change the order. So maybe I want all of the seating options together, table after that, pillow, and then others. Then what I can do is actually click on a product and edit 2 things. First thing is the client title versus product title. So client is what the client's going to see that product name for. So if I don't want them having a look at maybe the markup I've added, having them to go to the supplier and having a look if it's on sale, I can just change that name so they won't be able to see it. You can change other things at this point, but the only thing I'd probably recommend changing is the quantity. So you can come in and specify a certain quantity. Once you've done that, what you can also do is actually comment on products. So if I hover over any image and click on this little chat box, it'll then allow me to leave a comment. So I can say to my client, this also comes in black, has a 2-week lead time. Post. So now that I've created all of that, I'm ready to send it to my client. So what I'm going to do is click on Send to Client in the top right-hand corner, and that'll give me a pop-up which allows me to overlook the client's email address. Maybe I want to add in multiple people. I can change the subject line in the email, the body, even what the client can have access to. So maybe I don't want them to approve or decline. Maybe I don't want them to see pricing. I can just customize all of that. But otherwise, what I'm going to do is actually click on Preview. So that'll let me see exactly what the client's going to see before I send it off. So I can click on that, have a look at all of the options. Basically, I'm pretending I'm the client. So I can click on a product, have a look at all the photos, the description, the costs, and just go through everything. And then as the client, I can then go ahead and approve or decline all of the options that are listed. As well as that, they can actually click on the chat box, review your message, and then reply. Perfect. So once your client goes ahead and replies and you go back into Houzz Pro and you refresh, what that's going to do is show you all of those updates. So you know, okay, awesome, they want to go ahead with these, they don't want to go ahead with certain products, they've left comments, so it has a little red dot. But basically now we know, okay, awesome, let's go ahead with these products and pop them on a maybe proposal or invoice. So once I click on convert to document, it's going to show me what document I want to move it to. I do recommend starting off with a proposal because likely the client's going to change their mind a couple of times or the price is going to change. So the proposal is really the stage we want to make all of those edits and leave the final invoice to just a final payment. So we want to wrap everything up with a final invoice. So I'm just going to tick all of the products I want on this particular document. I'm just going to go ahead with 3 at this stage, convert them over. And what that'll do is bring us to the edit stage of our proposal. So basically what we've got at the top is our client details, due dates, when we've created this proposal. And then underneath that, we've got all of our items. So what I can do at this point is have a look at them, make sure I'm happy with it. If need be, what I can actually do is add in shipping costs at this point. So maybe I've got the estimated shipping costs, I can pop that in there. Otherwise, what I can do as well is add in other items. So whether that's products, services, anything like that, I can add them in. Services I feel like are very common and added in at this point. So what you can do is charge for maybe a concept design fee, estimated hours, even expenses like maybe petrol. You can always add in your services to your document. To add in a service, you can just click Add New Service, give it a cover if you want, like I've done here. Otherwise, you can come and give it a title, a category, and then if need be, a description and rate. Perfect. So once you have added those in and you customize them for this project, you can then come in and scroll all the way down to the bottom and have a look at that memo we set up in those account settings at the beginning. We can add in document tags, so maybe I want to say this is for the home office. Keep in mind the client can see your document tags, so you want to be careful what we pop in there. And then what we've got is our financials on the bottom right. Once we're happy with all that, what we want to do is click Save in the top right hand corner. And that way we can see all of those edits that we've made, have a look at the document, and again, if need be, preview. Before you do send this off to your client though, what I do recommend doing is actually hopping into this Manage View. So Client View is what the client sees. Manage View gives you a few back-end options. First is allowing your client to see the markup that you have added. So maybe you do have a standard 10% markup. You can always be transparent with that. Otherwise, you can give the client the option to approve per line. So maybe we have a couple of seating options. When the client declines it, they'll be able to see those live updates in pricing. Otherwise, what you can do as well is actually group line items. So maybe I have a custom product that has all these components, fabric, carpentry costs, glue, timber, whatever it is. I can actually combine it by just clicking each and clicking to group. For this example, I'm just going to group my services. If I want, give it a description and then click on save. What that's going to do, like I said, group it, and if I want, I can actually allow my client to click into the group and have a look at each component. So if I can scroll down, they can click on the blue folder and have a look at each. Perfect. So what I can actually do at this stage is actually send this off to my client. Again, what I'm going to do, send proposal, make sure I'm happy with it by clicking on preview. So what the client sees is this view here. They can get all the options, they can click in and interact, so it's a live document. What you can also do as well as a client is download this document as a PDF in the bottom left. They can submit approval or they can contact you. Once you've done that, let's just say, awesome, we've sent it off to our client. They've actually gone ahead and paid for it in full because they've seen our bank transfer details in the ideal world. So what we want to do is actually record it. So we're going to click add new payment. We can pay on behalf of our client by paying online. Otherwise, we can actually record a received payment. Let's just say bank transfer. The client's paid for it in full. The reference to our bank account. That way we can easily link the payments, when they paid, and if we want to send them a receipt as well. Once I go ahead and create that payment, it will then go from balance remaining to being paid in full. So what I recommend doing at this point is actually coming in and creating your purchase orders. So by clicking three dots in the top right, we can then go create purchase orders. That'll give us a pop-up which will automatically allocate the vendor, and if we want to include shipping. What I'm going to do for this example is just create two different purchase orders from two suppliers. If we don't want anything on a purchase order, we can always swap it to no vendor selected, which is what our default will be for our services. Click continue. That'll then generate those purchase orders. It won't send them off yet. It'll just be in our purchase order folder for you. So whenever you're ready, you can go ahead and send that off. So what I'm going to do at this point is click into a purchase order, have a look at all of the options on there, make sure I'm happy with it, and then go ahead and send it off to my supplier. If the supplier sends me an invoice or proof of payment that I've made, I can always add that as an attachment to my document. And then I can also come in and change a status. So maybe I can say, yep, we've ordered this product, maybe it's been delivered, installed. You can always update that status. So that way when you go back into your purchase order list, you'll be able to quickly see it there. One also handy thing I find is that what you can do is click on the blue eye and have a quick sneak peek, which will save you, maybe you have a couple of purchase orders from the same supplier over time and you want to quickly see which one belongs to the cushion. You can just click on that eye and have a quick access. What is most likely to happen at this point is the supplier is going to turn around and say, hey, you've actually charged, listed the price as $400, but it's actually $500, so you owe us an extra $100. At this point, it's a bit awkward. We've already said to our client, this is the balance. So what we don't want to do is go to our client, resend the proposal and say, you actually owe us an extra $100. That's what the proposal's about. It's initial, things change, options change, pricing changes. So what you can do at this point to avoid that awkward conversation is convert it into a final invoice. So what we want to do is click three dots, start invoice, and that's going to go ahead, convert it into a final invoice, back into our edit stage. So if need be, we can actually come in here and update our pricing. I'm just going to add it onto shipping for this example. We can always add extra items or services to this document as well, but we're just going to go ahead and click save in the top right hand corner. And that way we'll be able to see that price increase, and that way we know, okay, awesome, client owes an extra $100. Let's go ahead and review and send for a final document to send to our client to pretty much wrap up. That is the recommended flow of the project that I recommend. So starting off with our room boards, going into proposals, getting as much payment from your client as you can, creating your purchase orders. From there, update that final invoice and send it to your client as a final document. What we'll be able to see now is the project tracker being filled out. So the project tracker is pretty much a good one-stop shop for you to come in and have a look at all of your products and services that have been specified within the project and their latest status. So I can come in here and have a look at all of these options that I've popped onto my room board. I can see, yep, cool, this table lamp and chair, I did order it, it's on a purchase order. If I scroll across, I can see all the details attached with it, including financials and linked documents. The great thing about the project tracker is actually being able to create your documents off this as well. So maybe I want to click these two options. I'm going to click these three dots, create an FFE schedule. Maybe I want to download it as an Excel so I have another copy. You can always interact with it. So whenever I do recommend, whenever you do see these three dots, I always recommend giving them a quick click. That way you can go through each option and see what the drop down is. What you've also got is a timeline. So this will allow you to come in and add stages to your project. That way it's in the style of a Gantt chart and you can always add in different stages, whether you want to use it internally, share it with your client and have a look at it from there. What I'm going to do is hop into a previous project that I have created that's built out a little bit more just so we can see what it looks like. So I'm going to hop back into my timeline. This is essentially that layout. So what I've got is each stage, I can control the color. So maybe I want all tiling under purple. I've got each stage. I can come in and view it as a Gantt or a calendar. What I can do as well is have it on private so only you and your team can see this. Otherwise I can share it. So you can actually send this off to your client for them to know, okay, awesome, everything's on track. Tyler's coming in tomorrow. They're going to be in there for 2 days. You can see all the details from there. To add in a stage, you just click add in the top right hand corner, give it a title, color, date, save, and it'll add in as a stage like this. You can always come in and edit, change color, remove, play around with it as well. Throughout that whole process, what you've also got is your more section with your daily logs. So still on the concept of keeping your client in the loop of what's going on, you can create a daily log and pretty much recap what was said within the project. So you can say, Tyler came on site, weather was good, no delays. You've got a set template when you do come in, so you can always customize or even create your own. But you can come in and send this off to your client daily, weekly, fortnightly, monthly, however it is, just to keep the client in the loop of what's going on. That's a recommended flow within the project. Throughout that whole process, there are other things you might be doing on this left-hand bar. For example, time and expenses allows you to come in and just record your time. So for example, you can have a look at all the time logs you've made. You can then organize per project, per team member, dates the services were made, but pretty much you can come in, click new entry in the top right, and that way you can then go, okay, cool. For my Croft Residence project, myself, I'm charging them for traveling. My hourly rate is 150. I traveled yesterday. I even traveled on Monday, so I'm going to log another entry. And I'm going to say I traveled for 3 hours on Monday. Yesterday I only traveled for 4. I can leave a description saying maybe something like on-site to office travel. I can even add attachments. So maybe I want to add receipts or any kind of, maybe I was sourcing products and I want to add products on there. I can always add in attachments and then click save, and that'll then add as a time log. So I can always have a look at previous logs that I've created once I filter through. So maybe I want to organize per project. That'll then allow me to export the view into a Excel document. So I've always got a copy there. Otherwise, I can actually tick each time record I've made and charge to my client by creating an invoice. So you can use it internally just to track where your time's going, how much time you're investing into certain things. Otherwise, like I said, you can create an invoice and actually charge your client that. Another thing you can do rather than manually logging your time is using this stopwatch icon. So you can actually come in and log your time as you're doing it. So maybe you, like I said before, sourcing materials. I can say, yep, I want to charge it to my client. I'm charging them actually $150 this time. I'm starting my stopwatch. I can actually get multiple stopwatches going at once. So maybe I'm sourcing materials for 3 different projects. I'm going to start that. Let's just say an hour's gone by. I'm coming in, I'm going to click log time. So I'm going to stop that stopwatch and then I'm going to go back into my time chart. Just refresh. And I'm going to have it here. Sourcing materials. I didn't even get up to 1 hour, but what I wanted to, logically you would, I'd come in here and I'd start customizing. So I can say maybe 2.5 hours went by. Save. So it's all about logging it either through the stopwatch or manually. I can actually exit out of my internet and it'll still log my time. So it'll always keep logging until you stop it. Otherwise, you've got your reports. So what you can actually do is start generating reports based on anything that you have done in Houzz Pro. This is really handy for financial documents as well. So what you can do is actually generate reports maybe based off all of the expenses, maybe based off your project tracker. So you can do like a financial report. So all of this is in an Excel document and you can control what projects you want it for, what time frames you want them for, so you can always control that as well. What we've got as well is floor plans and mood boards. So what you can actually do is create a floor plan within Houzz Pro, make it really interactive and send it off to your client. I'll open up an example of one that I've already created, but basically what you have the ability of doing is looking at the floor plan that you've got, customizing it to your client's rooms. For example, maybe there's a certain wall thickness. I can click on a wall, change that. I can click on this pen icon and I can draw in new walls to add in new rooms. Otherwise, what I can come in and do is actually start adding in my structural elements, like my doors, my windows, all of that sort of thing. What I can do is click on a wall and it'll highlight blue, and I can click delete or backspace on my keyboard and that'll remove it. Once I click on a product that I have added in, what that'll do again is highlight blue, and I can change the dimensions. Another thing is my products. So if I want to add in a product, I'm just going to come in here and click on the icon, whatever product I want, and pop it wherever I need it. And again, I can change the dimensions and play around with that as well. Perfect. So once I've customized that, I go and click on the floor and add a rendering. So I can add in carpets. Otherwise, I can add in floorboards as well. So maybe I want to add in a floorboard. And then what I can do is go one step further, click on dollhouse at the top in the middle and get a 3D render. If I want, I can click on walls and actually add in a wall color. So maybe I want to make it a soft gray. I can come in and add that as well. So at this stage, it's all about customizing, making sure the client gets that vision that you're creating for them, and for them to have a look at pretty much what you created and say, maybe they're really adamant on having a massive bed in a really small room and you know it's not going to fit. You can pretty much come in and create that to the client's measurements and show them this is exactly what it's going to look like. Do you still want that double bed? So you can always send that to them. Otherwise, I've got walkthrough, which allows them to actually go in the room and then walk around. So that's something that you can always create as well. Once you have created it, to share it with your client, you just click share in the top right hand corner. It becomes a clickable link that you can then open up in a new tab, email to your client for them to have a look at the floor plan, dollhouse and walkthrough view without actually editing. So they're just looking at what you created. If need be, contact you and go through that process. So that is floor plans. What we'll do is we'll dive into the mood boards as well. So I'm no designer, so mine never looked the best, but I'm sure what yours will look like. But just so you can get the gist of how it all comes together, what you do is pretty much come in to a mood board that you've got, and what that'll do is let you link it to a project. So if we have linked it to a project, it'll show us all of the room board options on our right-hand bar. What you can do is access your library, so have a look at your product library. So you can come in here, maybe I want to replace this lounge for one of my options here. I can click, it'll then load into my, my mood board. You'll notice all of the products automatically crop out that background, so you can create that layering aspect. Otherwise, what you can come in and do is actually start layering, like I said. You can start adding in other products from source, which is the Houzz library. So if you want quick placeholders, you can always add that in. Otherwise, what you can do is actually upload images from your computer. So you click on the picture frame icon on the very top left, and that'll let you source anything that you've saved to your computer. You've got this floor plan icon, so you can link in a floor plan that you have created. You can crop majority of that background out. You can play with it around there. You can add in color swatches like I've done in this top right hand corner. What you can do as well is actually draw, use a pen icon, add in text like I've done here. So it is quite interactive and quite fun to play around with. So once you have gone ahead and created that, what you can do is actually click on save in the top right hand corner to save it into your library with the newest version. And then what you can do is just click on print in the top right hand corner. And what that would allow you to do is actually print it off to bring to meetings, whatever, but also save it as a PDF by changing the destination. So that way you can actually email it to your client, attach it to a document. But if I actually come in and click on save, what that's going to do is save it into my modern home project, into my living room room board. So that way I can link it to that project that way, send the client the room board with all of the options for them to approve or decline, and have a look at how it all comes together as well. That's pretty much a rundown of all of the features on the software that you do have access to. Like I said, along that process, if you do have any other questions, definitely use that need help button in the bottom right hand corner and click contact us. So that way you're going to email myself and the support team directly, and we'll be able to get back to you via email, going back and forth. Perfect, well that sums up everything for today. Like I said, any questions, definitely feel free to reach out. Thank you, bye.